Indigenous Peoples Day is a special day. It is a day to honor the history, culture, and contributions of Native Americans. It is celebrated on the second Monday of October. This day is a reminder that Native Americans were the first people living in the Americas. Indigenous Peoples Day is about recognizing the history of Native Americans. It is about remembering their stories, their struggles, and their strength. This day is also about celebrating their cultures. Native Americans have many different traditions, languages, and beliefs. Indigenous Peoples Day is a chance to learn about the Native American tribes in your community. It is a day to listen to their stories and to learn from their wisdom. This day is about understanding the past and looking toward a future of respect and understanding for all people. Indigenous Peoples Day hasn't always been around. It started because people wanted to honor Native Americans in a different way. They felt that Columbus Day didn't tell the whole story of what happened when Columbus came to the Americas. The idea of Indigenous Peoples Day began in the 1970s. People were becoming more aware of the struggles Native Americans faced. They wanted a day to celebrate Native American cultures and achievements. The first Indigenous Peoples Day was celebrated in 1990 in South Dakota. Since then, many cities and states across the United States have decided to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day. The movement to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day is growing stronger. More people are understanding the importance of honoring the first inhabitants of the Americas. Indigenous Peoples Day is often seen as a replacement for Columbus Day. Columbus Day celebrates Christopher Columbus's arrival in the Americas. However, many people believe that Columbus's arrival had a negative impact on Native American populations. Columbus's arrival led to the colonization of the Americas by Europeans. This colonization resulted in the displacement, enslavement, and death of many Native Americans. It also led to the suppression of their cultures and beliefs. Indigenous Peoples Day offers a different perspective. It acknowledges the hardships Native Americans have faced. It celebrates their resilience and strength in the face of adversity. The move to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day is a way of correcting history. It is a way of acknowledging the true impact of Columbus's arrival on Native Americans. Indigenous Peoples Day is a time to celebrate Native American heritage. It is a time to learn about their traditions, their art, their music, and their stories. There are many ways to celebrate this day. One way to celebrate is by attending a powwow. A powwow is a traditional Native American gathering. It is a time for singing, dancing, and celebrating their culture. Powwows are open to the public, and they are a great way to experience Native American culture firsthand. Another way to celebrate is by visiting a museum or cultural center. Many museums have exhibits on Native American history and culture. These exhibits can teach you about the different tribes, their traditions, and their art. You can also celebrate by reading books and watching documentaries about Native Americans. There are many resources available that can help you learn more about their history and culture. Section 5. Diverse celebrations across the land. Indigenous Peoples Day is celebrated in different ways across the United States. Each community has its own unique traditions and ways of honoring Native American history and culture. In some places, people hold parades and festivals. These events often feature traditional Native American dancing, singing, and storytelling. They are a time for the community to come together and celebrate the contributions of Native Americans. Other communities hold educational events. These events might include lectures, workshops, or film screenings. They are a chance to learn more about Native American history, culture, and contemporary issues. Some people choose to mark Indigenous Peoples Day by volunteering their time to organizations that support Native American communities. This could involve working at a local cultural center, advocating for Native American rights, or helping to preserve Native American languages. Section 6. Different opinions. Ongoing dialogue. While Indigenous Peoples Day is gaining recognition, not everyone agrees with replacing Columbus Day. Some people believe that Columbus Day is an important part of American history and should not be removed. Others argue that celebrating Columbus Day ignores the harm that his arrival brought to Native Americans. They believe that Indigenous Peoples Day is a more accurate and respectful way to commemorate the history of the Americas. The debate over Indigenous Peoples Day is part of a larger conversation about how history is remembered and who gets to tell their story. It is important to listen to different perspectives and to engage in respectful dialogue. Understanding the different viewpoints can help us learn from the past and work towards a more inclusive and equitable future. Section 7. A growing recognition. Despite the debate, Indigenous Peoples Day is gaining more recognition each year. More cities and states are choosing to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day. This growing recognition is a sign of progress. The movement to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day is being led by Indigenous activists and allies who are working to raise awareness about the importance of honoring Native American history and culture. Educational institutions are also playing a role in this growing recognition. More schools are teaching students about Indigenous Peoples Day and the history of Native Americans. This increased awareness is helping to create a more inclusive and accurate understanding of American history. It is also helping to ensure that the contributions of Native Americans are not forgotten. Section 8. The future of Indigenous Peoples Day. Hope and action. The future of Indigenous Peoples Day is filled with hope and the promise of continued progress. As more people learn about the importance of honoring Native American history and culture, the celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day is likely to grow even stronger. However, the work of recognizing and celebrating Indigenous peoples is not over. It is important to continue to support Native American communities and to work towards a future where they are treated with the respect and dignity they deserve. We can all take action by learning about the history and culture of the Native American tribes in our local communities. We can support Native American-owned businesses and organizations. We can also advocate for policies that protect Native American rights and resources. By working together, we can ensure that Indigenous Peoples Day is not just a day on the calendar, but a reminder of our commitment to justice, equality, and respect for all. Section 9. Conclusion. A time for reflection and change. Indigenous Peoples Day is more than just a holiday. It is a time for reflection, education, and action. It is a time to honor the first inhabitants of the Americas, to learn from their history, and to celebrate their vibrant cultures. It is also a time to acknowledge the injustices that Native Americans have faced and continue to face. By learning from the past, we can work towards a more just and equitable future for all. Indigenous Peoples Day is a call to action. Let us use this day to stand in solidarity with Native American communities, to amplify their voices, and to work towards a future where their rights, cultures, and contributions are honored and celebrated by all.